Hey y'all, today we are making a blueberry cobbler that I bet you have not tried before. This recipe is tried and true, but it is delicious. Now this is for the crust lovers, y'all. We got the double crust going on with some sticky blueberries. Guys, you're gonna love this. Don't forget to check out my ebook in the description box. And you know it doesn't get any easier than just using a pound of frozen berries. Now I am using blueberries here, but you can use blackberries or mixed berries. And I let them just defrost in the fridge. And in total, I'm going to be using 1 cup of sugar in this recipe, but I'm going to be using it at different times. So look, you better pay attention so you can learn some, okay, and get this recipe right because it's too easy. Now, once I have tossed these berries with this sugar, I'm then going to begin to just add a little flavor, okay? Now, I have 4 pounds of limes I got from Costco, and baby, I wasn't about to go out and buy no lemon, okay, when I got all these limes. So I'm going to use 1 lime, but 1 lemon and the zest of a lemon would be really nice. 2 teaspoons of vanilla is going to add that overall delicious flavor. I like to also put in a pinch of salt. This is about 1/8 of a teaspoon. It's going to help draw out a little bit of water. Cinnamon and nutmeg will complement the berries, but this ain't peach cobbler, okay? Don't go crazy with it. We talking about like 1/8 of a teaspoon each. It's just to complement the flavor. I am going to mix this all together, and I'm going to let this sit at room temperature for about 30 minutes. Your goal is to let the sugar draw out any water that could be in the berries. You could also let this happen overnight, but you want a thick syrup to develop. Now, I am using these biscuits. Mary B's, this brand specifically, is a very good brand, and I'm using the Biscuit Thins. However, you could use the normal sized buttermilk biscuit or the Southern biscuit. It doesn't really matter. These are a little smaller, so if you use the regular size, you're going to end up needing to use less of them. I have let these defrost at room temperature for about 30 to 45 minutes. And so now they're cold, but they are flexible. Okay. You don't really want to defrost these in the microwave, however. Now, simple and easy, baby. It's simple and easy. Add a little bit of flour onto your work surface. And then you're going to take your biscuit, honey, and you're going to just cover it in a little bit of flour. Take your rolling pin, cover that in a little bit of flour, and you're going to roll these out. You don't want them to be super thin, but you also don't want them to be extremely thick either. Somewhere about 1/4 of an inch thickness is pretty good. Of course, if you're using the regular size, they're going to be a little bit wider, and you're going to do this with all of them. Now, I use 11 of these biscuit thins. If you are using the regular size, you're probably only going to need about 6 to 7 because they're about twice as big, all right? But these biscuit thins was on sale, and honey, if you're getting it for a good price, you know you should do what you got to do, okay? When they all rolled out, they should look like this. Now, if you've enjoyed this recipe so far, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing because I post new recipes every single week. And also let me know what other recipes you would like to see. I am using 1 stick of butter in this recipe. Now I'm taking first 2 tablespoons and I'm going to rub it in my pan. Then I'm going to go check on my blueberries. They've been sitting out for 30 minutes. They're not super thick. These ones aren't super juicy. So I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of buttermilk. And I'm going to show you the sort of thickness on that syrup that you're looking for. Okay. Do y'all see what I'm talking about? Like you don't want a ton of juice, but you want just a little bit of some because you don't want it to be dry. That would be a big no. Okay. They're going to talk about you if your gobbler is dry. I can tell you that right now. Okay. But if your frozen berries are super liquidy, you may not need to do this. Pay attention to how I am placing the flattened out biscuits. First off, they definitely need to be in all the corners, and look at how I am letting some of the top overhang. You're actually going to end up folding that over. So you do need to let a little lip be above. I'm going to make sure that the sides are covered first, and then I'm going to use 2 on the bottom. If you don't want that much of a bottom crust, you could leave these out, but like I said, this for the crust lovers, baby. This for the crust lovers. All right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the berries and I'm going to put them in the corner and on the biscuits because I don't want them to fall over or let them a chance of the top flapping over when I put all the rest in the middle. I'm going to spread out everything. And then I am going to take 6 tablespoons of butter and I'm going to cut it up and spread it over evenly. That 2 tablespoons of butter that I used to grease the pan, I'm melting that in the microwave because I'm going to put that on top. Okay, so in total, just 1 stick of butter. Then, you see, I'm using more of my sugar. Pay attention now. I'm going to add a little more to the top. I actually tasted the berries, and my berries are not super sweet. So if yours are sweeter than mine, then really the 3/4 a cup I put on first, that may be enough. That's why you let it sit a little bit first so you don't add too much sugar. But mine are really not sweet at all, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go ahead and fold in the top, and then I'm going to take my last 3 biscuits. So in total, I used 11 of the biscuit thins, and I'm just going to cover them on the top. You don't need it to be fully covered. Ain't a big deal, baby. They going to need it, trust me. Okay. Now I'm taking that 2 tablespoons of butter, and I'm going to put that all over these biscuits. Oh my goodness. It's going to give it a brown coating, and it's also going to give a great flavor. Since my berries are dry, I am going to take 2 more tablespoons of buttermilk, and I'm not only going to brush the biscuits, but I'm going to pour them into those little gaps. That will help a sticky syrup develop, and it gives it a really great flavor. The acidity really goes well with the blueberries or any berry that you pick. I'm then going to take the rest of the sugar and just sprinkle it on top. If you don't like this much sugar on top, just take maybe a pinch and just put it over, gives it a hard crust and a really great taste. I cook mine in a 375-degree oven for 35 minutes. Now, don't let this trick you. Some of you may think it's ready at 30 minutes. Most likely it is not, because that biscuit at the bottom actually needs to cook well. And if you pull it out too early, it's going to be gummy at the bottom. So 35 to 38 minutes maximum. Now look, y'all, I was being greedy and baby, I barely let this rest before I dove straight up in this. As you can see, the top is nice and golden. The underside is cooked, but there's a nice little syrup around those berries. This is so delicious. Let me know if you are going to try this and what berries you're going to use. Vanilla ice cream, that's his best friend on this recipe. Don't forget that I love you and Jesus loves you. God bless you and goodbye.